All right, guys. Well, we were toe for toe on that one. This next one is by far probably the toughest one to pick. The North, man. We got one of the toughest divisions of football. You got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns, and I'm already calling it now. The Bengals will be the most improved football team this season. That's not a bold statement to say. I think they scored 40 points last year and gave up 45 every game. They were 9-8 last season. The Steelers were 10-7. The Ravens were damn good last year. 12-5. They go out and they get Henry, and we kind of wondered how much he had left in the tank and how they were going to use him. And that worked out really well for him until they decided not to use him in a playoff game as much, which was kind of weird at the end. But, that was last season. I think the Ravens, they go out, they add Jair Alexander, which when he's healthy, he's a freaking dog. It's just going to depend on if he's healthy. That's the big thing there. Their defense is going to be good. They always draft well. They had a really good draft this season, and so we'll see how they do. I think that the biggest interesting team in this division is the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. We have the elephant in the room of Aaron Rodgers. They go on to get Aaron Rodgers.
Rumors they add being his last season.
Yeah, this will definitely be it for him. They add DK Metcalf. They get rid of a cancer in Pickens, which he was a cancer there. We'll see how he does in Dallas. Their defense is going to be good. I think at this point, it really just depends on how you feel about Aaron Rodgers. And a lot of people last year said he was done, he's washed, he's garbage. And he was in a lot of top 10s last year. So, his numbers are not as bad when you look at it. Have you watched him play in the Jets and you watch the games? Yeah, it looked pretty bad. But you look at the numbers and you go, hey, he had top 10 passing yards, or he had top 10 this and that. I'm like, I wouldn't say he's done. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm going to be a little bold here, I give them a wild card spot this season. They're not going to win their division, but I'm going to throw them in a wild card spot. And maybe that's a bold move. But I think Aaron Rodgers will do enough. I think the defense is good enough where Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to go and put it all on his back. He doesn't have to play hero ball. And I think with him, they make a wild card spot. And with their head coach who doesn't have a losing season, I think it bodes well for Pittsburgh. Am I wrong? Am I crazy, guys? Or what do you think? What do you think of my Pittsburgh predictions?
I think you're still bleeding golden green. That's what I think. Forgot that Aaron Rodgers doesn't play for the Packers anymore.
I'm glad he doesn't, but
yeah,
I think he's got one more year.
Not by that statement, you're not. Love Cincinnati. I don't love their front office.
Yes.
Their defense is going to be probably as bad or worse than last year because they drafted a rookie to fix it and then haven't signed him. He's
going back to college, right?
One of the best pass rushers in football, and they won't give him money. So if those two guys are not going to be there, I don't see how the defense is going to be any better. I think the offense will be as good and better than it was last year. You got two wide receivers that got their money, and they're happy. The quarterback got their money. He's happy. I want everything in me for the Cincinnati Bengals to win this division because I can't stand the Baltimore Ravens. But I don't know if they can score 50 a game to do it because that's what they're going to have to do. I mean, they changed the defensive coordinator. I would love to say that you were right, that the Bengals will be the most improved football team, but they didn't do anything to fix the biggest hole in that they had. And Pittsburgh, I think they struggled to be over 500 and keep his string alive. I just don't. If you watch the games last year, Rodgers looked like he was moving in quicksand. He just wasn't. I don't think that he gets along with the head coach. I don't think that attitude of his attitude goes with the head coach attitude at all. I think those two, before the season's over, they're on the sidelines barking at each other, and I think that's going to be a thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the way I look at it.
What say you, Jeff?
I mean, with Cincinnati, it is, I kind of agree with Craig on that one when it comes to the front office. I think that they do have issues. There's so much talent there. Joe Burrow's incredible. He's going to have to go to another level this year for sure. Pittsburgh, I mean, when it comes to Rodgers, I think Rodgers there's been some flashes in preseason that I saw a couple of times of him connecting with, was it Metcalf that they have? So, I mean, I there's some flashes of Rodgers doing really well there. I do worry when it comes to like the offensive line for Pittsburgh. I'm not quite sure how their offensive line is put together. And Pittsburgh, I know, always has pretty decent defense and a good defense. So when it comes to the actual division itself, I can't just stray away from the Ravens. I do think that it's hard to kind of stray away from them just because the Bengals tends to get on and kind of get in their own way every season. They kind of always have to start off slow, at least, and then they pick it up. But they pick it up too late. And so by then it's like the division's pretty much locked up. Like then they're kind of clawing for a wild card spot or something. So it just seems like that, like especially last year too, is just like they kind of started picking it up towards the end of the season. So Cleveland is not, I'm not even going to talk about that.
Yeah, we can all agree. The Browns.
Well, Shadur looked like absolute garbage today. But I think it's honestly, if I had to guess and put it up as a toss-up between two teams, I'm going to put it up as a toss-up between, I'd give it to Bengals and Ravens over Pittsburgh. I do think that Rodgers, I don't know, I need to see more, I guess. As odd as that sounds, as great as Rodgers is, and as top 10, you say, in the statistics categories and stuff, I kind of want to see more because I'm not too confident with what I saw with the Jets. So, again, You have better defense, should be in games more, should be closer games, but I'm giving it to Baltimore to win. But I could see the Bengals possibly coming out and at least making some buzz there for sure.
Here's the Browns, and here's why the Browns continue to be the Browns. They named Joe Flacco their starting quarterback. That is the most dumbest move of the offseason. I get it. He may be the best quarterback you got right now, but we know who he is. He's ancient. He's nobody. He's not going to get you where you want to go. You draft two young kids. Now, I'm not Shadur Sanders, whatever, the whole drama with that. You got to see through the future. Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon, like to name Joe Flacco, it's just ridiculous. They're going to be bad again. I wish Myles Garrett would have stuck to his guns and got the hell out of Cleveland because they're going to be bad. It is mind blowing that Joe Flacco is their starting quarterback, and if I'm the Browns fans, I'm going, what are we doing? Joe Flacco is not going to lead us to where we want to go. We need to see these young guys are going to be the future of our team, and give them a shot. That's all I'm saying. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Don't think that anyone in their right mind would have thought that the Browns, and I know it sounds insane, but I just never saw the Browns actually starting Shadur day one. I didn't think that was going to happen. I know that there's even fans here of, the Buffs and stuff that I've spoken to, and they're like, yeah, I think he's not going to start. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, no. And so, I mean, it's just like, I just don't see it. I see it happening partway through a season. I never thought that they would have gone with some young deal. So the Flacco thing I know may sound crazy, but I kind of wasn't surprised by that because I'm like, it's the Browns. They're going to, do something weird. And obviously, yeah, sure. We're going to throw Joe Flacco out there because it makes sense in a way because he's been doing this for so long. He's a backup. Well, not backup, but he's a starter, but he's been a big player in the league. He knows how to play. I think putting him out there, and if the wheels fall off after 3 games, here comes Shadur. Like, that's what's going to probably happen, or somebody, one of the backups. Shadur's a big name. It's going to get people talking. They know that. I mean, it in a way, it gets the topic of the Browns in the Sports Center, category of communication. So it's like, okay, well, sure, we're going to be talking about Shadur, and that's going to be a thing. So I just think it's not going to work, but it's all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh man, here's Shadur, and he's going to come down and, spark the team and somehow, even though I don't think that will happen. But
I laugh because they're using 4 roster spots to carry
exactly.
out the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you don't, okay, maybe you don't want to throw Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gay. Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
I'm
you could
sorry,
do
I'm
that.
sorry,
You could
man.
do that. Yeah.
This Joe Flacco thing is a joke. It is. And look, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl, even though it was, his defense was the reason he won and all that good stuff. And I didn't think Joe Flacco was always that good. But you're a franchise that's been crap. You were 3-14 last year. You need to see what these young guys can do and see if you can find a franchise quarterback instead of starting your stopgap quarterback. Crazy to me.
Solid,
But
on a solid note, the Bengals did finally sign their draft pick. So,
well, that's good. I thought he was going back to college. I'm like, oh wow.
Hey, before Micah.
All right, y'all might think I'm crazy with my predictions, but I'm gonna tell you what. I got the Bengals winning the division. I've got the Steelers in second, and I think the Ravens take a drop off the season. And I got the Browns in last place. My bad. Hold up. My bad. I wrote that down wrong. It's Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, but Steelers still get a wild card spot. I'm not that crazy. Look, I'm a big believer in Joe Flacco. I know the defensive woes. They changed the defensive coordinator. I don't think the defense is as bad as it was last year. I'm not saying they're going to be world beaters. I think they're going to be middle of the pack, 16, 17. I'm a big believer in Joe Flacco. I think they win 11 games this year, 10 games. I think the Ravens have an off year. I think they're going to figure them out. The last year they had Henry. The first year with that, I think a lot of teams are going to figure him out. I'm not sure Henry's, going to stay healthy. Lamar Jackson, they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to come out and do what they did last season. So I have the Bengals. I wrote it down wrong. The Ravens, Steelers, and Browns as my 4. So
Okay.
I just too much belief in Joe Burrow to not put him number 1. He is, and when we did our top 10 quarterback list, I should have put him number 1.
Well, I guess my question is, what has been stopping the Bengals to this point? What has been the problem with the Bengals to this point? Because, of course, last year it was like, what? I guess that's my question, is because, like, how long has Burrow been in the league at this point? I mean,
this is his 5th year.
5th year, okay,
I believe.
And his first or second year he went to the Super Bowl.
First year he snapped his leg and missed the rest of the year. Second season with the worst offensive line in the league, most sacked quarterback, he took the team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt. He was hurt a little bit last year. This is his 4th or 5th. Last year was his defense. Like I said, they scored 40 points a game.
Last year he had MVP numbers himself, and
his numbers were the best in football.
Right.
Okay.
But then he wasn't considered because they were 8-9. Their defense.
Because they didn't make the playoffs and they were terrible.
I just think
can't argue with your.
It's going to be one hell of a year for him, and I just don't see. They say defense doesn't carry over every single year, like maybe offense does. So you might have a great defense one year, and next year it might fall off a little bit. I think the Bengals were so bad last year. I don't think it's going to be that bad this year, like not as bad as it was last year. So I'm gonna let's see. Let me look up his stats last year. Joe Burrow had one hell of a year last year, and everyone felt bad for him because they're like, "Wow, it's the
first game their defense gives up a 40 burger." I'm like, Brian.
Yeah, Craig, where do you have these? Where do you have these teams? Craig went. Oh, there he is. Craig, where do you have these teams 1 through 4?
Same thing as you. I cannot side with Baltimore. I think if you are an NFL team and don't stack the box and make Lamar Jackson beat you, should be fired immediately from a defensive coordinator in the NFL. I understand he put up good numbers. I understand he was, quote unquote, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. I have no faith in Lamar Jackson. He runs at moment's notice. I think they are going to fall off. I'm just not impressed with Lamar Jackson, and I think Burrow, with having his two weapons, signed and no drama in contract talks, those guys are going to ball out. I even like the tight end that they have there that got involved in the end of last year. I think that offense is just going to roll.
Did we say that last year, by the way, that the Ravens were not going to win their division? Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
And you know why?
I'm sorry. I just can't get on the Lamar Jackson bandwagon. I just
exactly. We're not big Lamar guys.
I know
you have a Jersey Brian back there, so stop.
I have been on that train from day one, and years ago when my brother drafted him in fantasy football, I laughed at him all the way to the bank, and he won the MVP, and my brother won the fantasy football league for the first time in his whole life. So Lamar Jackson has haunted me forever, and he probably still will, but I hope on the first game his Achilles tendon rolls up and
cold sweats in the middle of the night.
Jeff, this is how good Joe Burrow was last year. He threw for 4,900 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions.
Yeah.
If the Bengals if the Bengals fight for the postseason last year, Joe Burrow's your MVP, hands down.
But it's a team game, so I guess that's the deal.
Jeff, where do you got him?
When we get to Dak Prescott.
Well, I mean, you got to sign your players.
Yeah. Well, he's got a contract. He's come to work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's screwed for 3 years of this if he doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you got him, Jeff?
If I don't show up to work tomorrow, I'm not going to be paid. So bring your ass to work.
In terms of the NFC, or AFC North.
Yep.
I did the whole like, it could be this or could be that. So I mean, I got the Ravens at top, but like I said, it could be. I was struggling with Bengals and Ravens and flipping them. So I think I'm just going to go with Ravens for now because I'm a little bit worried about the Bengals playing complete games. So if they start playing complete games, then obviously this team is going to be dangerous, and I think the Ravens are in for a rude awakening. But if we go into week 3 and it's like they're not putting complete games together and they're losing games like that, like they were last year, then it's going to be kind of similar to what happened last year.
And that's, you could look at last year and make that point. Like, that's not a bad point. Hey, the Bengals, man, their defense is so bad. It could cost them again. So we shall see. Time will tell. But I'm excited for this season. Now, you have Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns.
Yes.